The valley and the wall. At dawn, Elias opened his eyes and felt the air was heavier than usual. Work wasn't adding up. Family conversations were rough. And one question kept knocking. Is it still possible? He made a simple coffee and stared out the window at a cracked old wall in the neighborhood, like his courage. Then the old stories returned. Nehemiah looked at ruins and chose to rebuild. Before raising bricks, he raised prayer. God gave favor, strategy, and steady hands to finish despite threats and mockery. The wall stood again because the good hand of the Lord was upon them. Elias closed his eyes and said for the first time in a while, "Lord, give me courage." He remembered Joshua. "Be strong and courageous. The Lord will be with you wherever you go." It wasn't a slogan. It was an invitation to take the next step, even with a racing heart. When the wind hits hard on the bus, Elias remembered Peter walking on water until he stared at the wind. When he sank, Jesus reached out his hand. Faith wasn't the absence of wind. It was a hand extended in the storm. "Help me," he whispered. What came wasn't a plastic miracle, but a quiet peace, like a voice saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you." The phone buzzed, tough email, deadline moved up. Anxiety surged. Elias breathed and chose Nehemiah's way before the king. Quick prayer, focused work, and humble help-seeking. Instead of controlling everything, he chose to persevere in what is good, fixing a spreadsheet with excellence, apologizing for a delay, thanking a colleague who stayed late. The promise held. At the proper time, we will reap, if we do not give up. Perseverance isn't blind stubbornness. It's trust in God's harvest schedule. Right place, right time. At lunch break, Elias remembered Queen Esther. Not a superhero, just a person who felt fear at a dangerous door. But she realized she was placed for such a time as this. With fasting and prayer, she stepped in to intercede. Courage isn't the absence of tremor. It's moving forward despite it, trusting God's sovereignty. Elias thought about his own door. A hard conversation with a leader to defend a fair project that would bless the whole team, even if it upset short-term interests. "The Lord is my rock and fortress," he recalled, and booked the meeting. A small obedience on an ordinary day. But heaven moves on ordinary days. Talents in the right hands. In the late afternoon, he passed a small church and remembered the parable of the talents. One servant buried his gift in fear, but others multiplied what the master entrusted. God doesn't praise fear that paralyzes. He celebrates faithful love that risks. Elias realized his skills. Listening well, organizing processes, encouraging people weren't small. They were talents for the kingdom. He grabbed a notebook and wrote 3 seeds to plant that week. Call a discouraged friend, mentor an intern, and propose a more humane flow for the team's support queue. "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." Not as a catchphrase, but as permission to obey in the everyday. The night shift night fell, bringing hard memories. Elias opened the Psalms and read, "Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord." Waiting wasn't standing still. It was anchoring the soul while the hands worked. He also read, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." For the first time, he wrote his anxieties down as if placing a heavy parcel into the right hands. There were tears, and that's okay. Nehemiah wept, David wept, but they prayed, stood up and built. Perseverance produces character, and character hope. Not magic, maturity, forged by God under pressure. Mornings that begin again. 2 months later, no fireworks but fruit. The meeting he feared sparked a healthier culture on the team. The intern flourished. The discouraged friend returned to church. Most of all, his heart was less captive to fear. "He who began a good work will carry it on to completion," he repeated, noticing the neighborhood wall had a new layer of mortar, and so did his. Heaven's arithmetic became clear. When tribulation comes, faith doesn't shrink. It learns to breathe underwater, hand in hand with Christ. "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." If God is for us, who can be against us? Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. These words stopped being only verses. They became steps on the sidewalk of daily life. Final invitation. If the heart feels heavy today, receive the same invitation. Be strong and courageous, not by human strength, but because the Lord walks with you in every season. Cast anxiety, lift a short prayer, take the next faithful step, and trust. Hope does not disappoint because God's love has been poured into our hearts. The wall may be high, the wind strong, but the Lord's hand is steadier than all of it. And when the harvest arrives in the right time, it will be clear that every small act of perseverance was a miracle under construction.
Porque cada segundo é muito valioso. E mais ainda, quando se trata de descobrirmos o que é essencial para nós. A resposta para essa pergunta só será encontrada se reservarmos tempo para si perguntar: o que te faz bem? O tempo não nos muda só fisicamente. Os nossos planos, nossas ideias, os nossos valores, os nossos rumos. Como definir qual é o para atingir os seus objetivos. Por isso, antes de dar o próximo passo, pergunte o que te faz feliz. Com o tempo, você vai encontrar a sua própria felicidade. E ela vai estar. Guarde-o para você, porque cada segundo é muito valioso. E mais ainda, quando se trata de descobrirmos o que é essencial para nós. A resposta para essa pergunta só será encontrada se reservarmos tempo para si mesmo. Tempo para se perguntar: o que te faz bem? O tempo não nos muda só fisicamente. Os nossos planos, nossas ideias, os nossos valores, os nossos rumos. Como definir qual é o para atingir os seus objetivos. Por isso, antes de dar o próximo passo, pergunte o que te faz feliz. Com o tempo, você vai encontrar a sua própria felicidade. E ela vai estar. Guarde-o para você, porque cada segundo é muito valioso. E mais ainda, quando se trata de descobrirmos o que é essencial para nós. A resposta para